I'd like to talk a little bit about Ramana Maharshi this morning. Not about a common myth, but about the truth. You know, the conditioned mind teaches you that you are a separate individual. And in that, what is experienced are separate objects. Everything that is experienced as alive is a definable object through the senses. And what is not definable is perceived as a vacuum, as nothing. No matter how many times scriptures are read, no matter how many times there is mental reminding of oneself, so long as there is the experience of being a separate individual, your experience will be that life is filled with all of these separate individuals. Some are kind, some are not. Some you feel safe with, some you do not. And everything is filtered through my experience, which is this focal contraction, this point of reference that is defined as me. And then you begin to receive the teachings out of this grace, clarity, that every single thing that is perceived is your perception. That everything that is experienced inside only recycles itself. That everything out there is a reflection of what is in there. Even though conditioned mind keeps spinning very aggressively, and its role is the role of denial. Creates this filter that repeats an experience of someone, all derived out of memory, projecting into a future, creating an experience of linear time and an experience of someone. But when there is something mature, when there is something that is ripe out there initially in what is experienced as the external reflection, there will be something that reflects itself back, out of which the deeper wisdom comes. The teachings that came from Ramana, so simple. There is only the self. Now, what this conditioned mind does is it takes this and it constructs these parameters, it comes in as a reflection because of something that is ripe. But then conditioning creates these parameters. They say he is someone who reached enlightenment. He is someone. Even though the only thing that was ever offered is there is only the self. The name Ramana, which all of you know, means that which dwells in the heart of all beings. Yet the mind makes the master something separate from you. Some particular one. But you cannot know what the master is until you know yourself. You cannot know yourself until your gaze is inside. In the grace of this maturity, in the reflection, is not reflected some controversial being, but the representation of ultimate possibility. And what mind will do is it will make someone out of it, compare myself, another one, and see endless ways in which this someone is failing. And then there is this wall that happens out of this programmed self-hatred for failing and seeing in the eyes of this other one judgment on how I am failing. It doesn't matter if it is that symbol or this symbol. But what has been directly tasted time and time and time again is there are no individuals. It is a myth created out of conditioned memory, which is never found now. In the true revelation, what is discovered is that Ramana Maharshi never existed, not the person. It's all in your dream. In the ripeness of your dream, the character that is the doorway is represented as something completely pure. But it's all in your dream. Your mind makes it separate. It is true that at a certain point to say, I am Ramana, I am God, is pure arrogance. If it feels like arrogance, it is. Because it is all arising out of the experience of some separate player. But at a certain juncture, it is necessary to see that in order for trust to truly root itself, there must be the alignment with what is real. If what you are aligning yourself with is relationship with a person, it is impossible for the trust to root itself all the way. What is the role if the reflection is a person? It is to offer the truth. It is to offer the wisdom. It is to offer the transmission. And it is also to offer everything in the dream that has created a sense of being separate. And if this is the experience, then it will play its role. But at a certain point of maturity, what becomes clear is you are the one that makes another individual another individual. You make me someone. So long as it is seen through those eyes, it will look great and it will look horrible. It will look safe and it will look unsafe. It will look like he loves me and it will look like he is ignoring me. But it's all old. It's all the pieces that created the shell, and the wisdom underneath has tasted time and time again that there is no such thing as someone. So the reflection comes as an offering that offers the truth. In this dream, in this life, Ramana Maharshi is the purest beauty that lives inside my heart. Not someone that someone else compares themselves to and falls short. It is easier with Arunachala because what the senses see is a mountain. So the heat is off in a way. But it is identical. Your mind does not spin stories of the mountain having judgment of your progress. You marvel in the presence and the beauty and the love. The nature of the dream is to reveal the dream for what it is. Everything that is happening in your perceptive awareness now is happening in a dream. The character that is me is representing you in the dream. The one who is speaking is representing you in the dream. All of the other players are representing you in the dream. So on this particular retreat, there has been much more intensity, much more heaviness. And the story in the mind of the separate one is this is going on for me. Yet in the experience here, what is so clear is that in the flavor of the burning of life in this reflective dream, there is all this heaviness and fear, movement to run and get away from. And then conditioned mind grabs on and says, me. hand, it is all you. Like the fear of carrying energy of another. There is no such thing as another. There is no such thing as you. The dream ebbs and flows. When the ripeness hits a certain point, when burning is happening, the mind wants to bolt, but something inside says no. Because that is what carries you through. So the smoke has lifted. Sense of much greater aliveness and space. Mind says, I am doing better. Mind says, good monologue. It is all happening in your mind. The magnificence of self-inquiry, the simplicity of looking for yourself, looking for the I, out of which the whole fantasy is built, looking for it. As opposed to a barometer stick of comparison. When this maturation process takes root, what is symbolic of your freedom? You fall in love with it. Not you fall in love with someone. You fall in love with what is representing your truth, your freedom. If it looks outside, its role is to point inside. Because you're the only one